الله أكبر.
The Fall of Churches and the Rise of Islam in America, 2025. It was a new morning in America, one many prayed would bring blessings. Voices whispered with hope, "May God grant us the intercession of His Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on the day when wealth and children will be of no avail." But what was happening in the United States that year was anything but ordinary. It felt like a spiritual earthquake, an unseen force overturning the balance of society. By 2025, a phenomenon had emerged that no one could ignore. Growing numbers of Americans from every race, class, and creed were embracing Islam. This wasn't happening in times of prosperity, but in the middle of chaos and calamities. A monstrous snowstorm froze entire cities like New York and Chicago. Sudden floods drowned parts of Texas and Louisiana without a single cloud in sight. In California and Oregon, wildfires erupted mysteriously from underground, filling the air with a sulfuric stench. People asked one another, "Are these coincidences or divine warnings?" As uncertainty spread, mosques began to overflow with new faces. Social media filled with videos of men and women sobbing as they recited the Shahada. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. One young woman named Jessica appeared on screen, crying, "I never thought I'd find this peace. I lost my job, my family fell apart, and I felt so empty. But the first time I heard the call to prayer, it was like my heart came alive again." Mainstream media tried to dismiss it as exaggeration, but the internet revealed another story. This is madness! Desperate, he gathered former advisors, demanding strategies to stop the wave. They proposed propaganda campaigns, films smearing Islam. But then, an unexpected figure emerged. Jonathan Miller, a former pastor who had quietly embraced Islam. Now an imam in New Jersey, his calm sermons about peace drew hundreds each week. Miller's influence spread. He launched initiatives like Islam for Peace, opening mosques to interfaith dialogue. Attempts to pass laws banning Islamic outreach collapsed as unconstitutional. In one interview, Miller explained softly, "We don't want to control America. We want to bring peace to it. Islam is a path of mercy." His words touched millions, leading thousands to visit mosques for the first time. Miller's own story moved people deeply. He had once been a devoted pastor, but after the death of his wife and the distance of his children, he fell into despair. One day in a park, he met a humble man named Ahmed reading the Quran. Their conversation was quiet, free of argument, just light. Slowly, Miller began reading the Quran himself, until one night he broke down in tears reciting Surah Yusuf. After an inner struggle, he declared the Shahada, weeping, reborn. Not long after, he reconnected with Emily, an activist from his former church. To his surprise, she too had embraced Islam, finding peace in Surah Maryam. They sat together in a park with a former soldier, Ronald Baker, listening in silence. Suddenly, Ronald asked, "Can I join you? Can I learn about Islam too?" Days later, inside the very church where Miller once preached, Ronald proclaimed his Shahada. The scene was extraordinary. A former pastor, a young woman, and a veteran embracing Islam together. Tears filled the room. What once was a place of division became...
Trump tried to push a law of American integrity to restrict Islam, but massive protests erupted. Muslims, Christians, Jews, and even atheists marched together chanting, "Religious freedom is a human right. Islam is not a threat, it is hope." Then came the storm. A devastating hurricane slammed the East Coast, destroying Patriot Watch headquarters. The press named it the Storm of Justice. The tide had turned. Conversions continued, not through debate or politics, but through gentle words. "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger." In New York, thousands of Muslims, new and old, gathered to celebrate Eid al-Fitr. At the center stood Jonathan Miller, the pastor who became an imam. He raised his voice. "Islam is not a threat. It is a religion of peace and brotherhood." Trump, by then, had lost his influence, his allies, and his voice. Isolated, he ranted in the shadows, while Islam blossomed in the hearts of the people. Even mainstream media described his downfall as his failure to grasp America's transformation. In the end, Miller wrote an open letter to Trump. "Mr. Trump, Islam is not your enemy, nor America's. It is a faith of mercy and respect. Open your heart, for God created us all to live in peace." Trump read the letter silently, his heart heavy with defeat. He realized the world he tried to build was gone. Islam had not faded. It had become woven into the fabric of America. He withdrew from politics, while Muslims continued to serve, to give, and to build. And so Islam was no longer a stranger in America. It was part of its soul.